All right, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to be taking a really fascinating journey into the technology and, honestly, the surprising cultural impact of automated home cleaning. Because, for something that just kind of hums along our baseboards while we're making coffee, the robot vacuum has fundamentally changed how we interact with our living spaces. It is absolutely packed with this incredible silent intelligence, and we're going to unpack exactly how it works. Our roadmap for this exploration is a truly fantastic book called Gear Clean, the story of robot vacuums and mop machines, written by Evan L. Cross. Throughout this explainer, we'll be using the insights from this text to deconstruct not just the literal nuts and bolts of these devices, but how these machines actually give us back our time and, frankly, our peace of mind. But first, we really need to look at the philosophy behind all this.
So you know that feeling when you just cannot focus because your room is a total mess? We have all been there. Cross poses a really profound question right out of the gate in the book. What is it about clean that feels so universally essential? Across different cultures and eras, having a tidy space provides this primal sense of comfort and order in what is, let's face it, a highly unpredictable world. The book actually points out that studies show cluttered environments spike our cortisol levels. It literally increases our stress and reduces our productivity. It distorts our focus. It's kind of like trying to listen to classical music in a super noisy room. Tidiness isn't really about perfection at all, it's about harmony. It sets the stage for focus, creativity, and calm. But historically, well, getting to that clean state took a whole lot of physical effort.
If we trace this historically, we see that for thousands of years, cleaning was essentially just an extension of the human hand, right? Starting with the humble broom in ancient times. Then, the late 1800s gave us mechanical carpet sweepers, which were elegant but still entirely manually driven. The 20th century brought electric vacuums. Now, they replaced sweeping with suction, but they were loud, they were bulky, and they demanded our absolute physical presence. And then came a massive paradigm shift. In 2002, the very first commercially viable robot vacuums, like the early Roombas, hit the market. Sure, they were a bit clumsy, bouncing around your living room like pinballs, but they shifted the entire concept from human effort to automated delegation. Overnight, we no longer had to be the cleaner, we became the supervisors.
So how do they actually do the work? Well, the foundational technology is suction, but I want you to notice the massive shift in philosophy here. Traditional upright vacuums relied on loud, brute force. I'm talking massive motors meant to just tear debris out of the carpet. Robot vacuums, however, prioritize a quiet, consistent hum. Because they're designed to clean daily, they don't actually need overwhelming force. Instead, they rely on a carefully balanced airflow to gently and consistently lift debris entirely, rather than just pushing it around like a traditional broom would. It is all about daily maintenance, not some dramatic weekend rescue mission.
To achieve this, these robots have a highly specialized physical anatomy. Let's look under the hood. The main motor and fans sit right at the core, creating that essential low-pressure suction zone. But the unsung heroes here are the brushes. You've got side brushes that act almost like tiny little hands, constantly flicking dust inward from the edges and corners where the suction alone just can't reach. Then underneath, you have the main roller brushes. Early on, these were mostly made of bristles, which dug deep into carpets, but oh my gosh, they were an absolute nightmare for pet hair. Now, many models use rubber rollers that flex to the floor and brilliantly prevent those frustrating hair tangles. And powering this entire moving ecosystem is a rechargeable lithium-ion battery, which basically acts as the robot's quiet heartbeat.
Okay, before we dive into the fascinating brains of the robot and how it actually navigates your living room without causing total chaos, I want to invite you to join our community. If you're finding this explainer valuable, please take a quick second to like this video and subscribe to Knowledge Lighthouse. It really helps us keep bringing you these deep dives.
All right, let's talk about how these machines actually think, because there's a massive divide in how robot vacuums move. Early models, and actually some budget ones you can still buy today, use random movement. Basically, they go forward until they hit something, they turn, and they try again. It is wildly chaotic, looking exactly like a pinball bouncing around, but statistically, it does eventually cover the whole floor. Contrast that with modern, advanced models that use mapped navigation. These ones move with strategic, straight-line precision. It's like watching a determined gardener mowing a perfectly square lawn. They divide your room into logical zones and clean incredibly methodically. To understand how they navigate without that chaos, we have to look at an intricate web of sensors acting as the robot's eyes and sense of touch. First up, infrared sensors. These act as proximity alarms and cliff detectors, so your robot doesn't take a tragic tumble down the stairs and end its career early. Then you have bump sensors right on the bumper ring for tactile physical feedback. So a gentle bonk against the table leg just tells it to turn around. But the true game changer here? LiDAR. This is a spinning laser on top of the robot that shoots out invisible pulses of light to create a full 360-degree spatial map of your room. It literally knows the exact geometry of your space, preventing it from constantly crashing into your coffee table.
With those sensors active, the robot executes a secret, highly choreographed daily workflow. Step 1 is wake up and initialize. It actually runs a pre-flight diagnostic check on its battery and sensors to ensure it's fully ready to go. Step 2 is scan and map. It pings the room to orient itself and see, if you happen to have moved the furniture around since yesterday. Step 3 is path planning. This is a continuous, real-time negotiation where it calculates the absolute most efficient route while intelligently dodging a stray sock or a pet sleeping on the floor. And finally, Step 4, return to dock. It glides gracefully back to its home base to recharge for the next run.
But the crucial point here is that this isn't just about clean floors. It's really about how we live. As Evan L. Cross beautifully writes in the book, Automation Teaches Us to Delegate Without Detaching, I want you to take a second to really think about that. This touches on the entire emotional core of the text. Having a robot vacuum doesn't make us lazy. What it does is preserve our mental bandwidth. We still have to participate, right? We empty the bins, we clear the massive clutter out of the way, but we are outsourcing the tedious repetition so we have more energy and more focus for the things that truly matter in our lives.
And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the docking station. Now, it's really easy to look at this as just a piece of plastic that charges a battery, but the author actually describes it as the robot's hearth. It is a symbolic anchor. Watching the machine return to its dock after a long cleaning run perfectly mirrors our very human rhythm. Think about it. We work, we rest, we recharge, and we prepare for tomorrow. It gives the machine a dedicated place in our home, establishing a quiet, reliable rhythm in the background of our super busy lives.
The evolution of these machines is truly a testament to human ingenuity, aiming to make daily life just a little more spacious. If you want to dive deeper, grab your copy via the link in the description. Please share this video to help spread the truth, and check the description for more details. Thank you so much for joining us on this explainer today. So the next time your robot vacuum quietly glides back to its dock, ask yourself, what will you do with the time and mental space it just gave back to you? Until next time, keep questioning, keep learning, and let's continue our mission to illuminate minds.